Hey guys, welcome into the TexAgs Rewind. I'm Kaylee Dreyer. I'm here with Maria and Jessica, and the Rewind is presented by Specs, 4-time Retailer of the Year, and we're in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Today on the program, we had OB, Kendall Rogers, Trisha Ford, and Josh Pate. What were y'all's favorite parts?
My favorite part was the go hour with OB. What about you, Jessica?
My favorite part was the call with Kendall Rogers.
What was your favorite part, Kaylee?
My favorite part was Trisha Ford. I'm excited for the NCAA tournament this year.
What in-game, in-season adjustments do you want to see from Texas A&M this season? And I broke it down into kind of two areas.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Elko,
Yeah.
okay, and Colin Klein offensively, because I think when I say Mike Elko, this year looks like he's going to be doing all the defense. And then offensively, what kind of things do we want to see from Colin Klein? And I actually wanted to start with adjustments that I saw last year that I liked.
Okay.
Here's the adjustment that I liked. And at the time, I wouldn't have done it. The Notre Dame game, Connor Wigman should have been benched.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done it then. In fact, I think you brought it up in the press box that you might consider pulling the plug. Am I right about that? You
I
thought
remember
about
thinking,
it for a moment?
if you have a chance to win a game and the guy's just not playing well, why does quarterback have to be different than other positions if a guy's not playing well?
Right. And at that moment, I was like, no way. Connor's the truth. Okay? He didn't pull Connor in that game. We know how that fourth quarter turned out. Okay? But then he was faced with the exact same scenario, talking about Coach Elko here, 6 weeks later against LSU, where Connor was not getting it done. The offense couldn't get anything going, and he did make the change. Now, he made the change with a little bit more evidence. We saw what Marcel was able to do against Florida, what he was able to do against Arkansas, somewhat against Bowling Green. So we saw the growth. But to me, that's an in-game, in-season adjustment that I think I liked. I'm hoping we don't have to do a musical chairs at quarterback ever again. But he didn't make the move early in the season. He learned from it, at least in that scenario, with more evidence. That's something that I liked.
If we're talking in-game, I would like for them to, now talk about defensively. If I'm playing a team, and maybe I'm going to say right off top, this could be a bad idea because I'm going to say, if you're playing a team that has a struggling quarterback, Auburn, so if you can play deep coverage, if you're playing a team that's good at running the ball and has a struggling quarterback, can we take out one of the DBs and put an extra linebacker?
Josh, if I tell you, all right, Le'Veon Moss is going to be fully healthy, all right, you look at that running back room. Are they top 3 running back rooms in the SEC? Where are they? Like, if we know their health, because again, even if you're healthy, how quickly do you return to the form that you were last year? But let's just say Le'Veon can get to the level we saw last year with Ruben Owens' the potential of being a star player himself, and some people thought he was going to be the starter last year before the season started, and Amari Daniels, what he's been able to do, and the others. If I were to just tell you their running game is going to be as healthy as possible, what does that say about that running back room?
I think it's one of the best in the country because it's going to be supported by, hopefully, good enough quarterback play where you achieve balance. Balance, I think I say this up to you about once a month, but the way I think about offensive balance is not in terms of 50-50 play calling, and it's not on a stat sheet. We ran for 250 and passed for 250. We were balanced today. It's just, does Colin Klein have that laminated play sheet in his hand and feel comfortable calling pass, run in any situation? And most importantly, do opposing defensive coordinators believe that he's willing to call pass, run in virtually any situation? If you've got that, and a strong ground game goes a long way in that, and wide receivers doing their job, Marcel taking the next step goes a long way in that, then you've achieved balance. And if they're a balanced offense, then, you're talking about, relatively speaking, you're talking about one of the best tailback room potentials in the country.
I'm going to close out with this question, very elementary question. Yesterday I was at, I'm going to dumb it down because sometimes I think we follow the sport so close that we forget that maybe we make it harder than it needs to be. I'm at soccer practice yesterday for my daughter, and a parent came up to me who knows I cover college football, and he was asking me about NIL in the future and yada, yada, yada. And he goes, dude, I think if they just fix the transfer portal, NIL will take care of itself. If they make it, you just can't transfer whenever you want and can't leave from, maybe make it max twice you can transfer. NIL will take care of itself. That's all they need to do. I think it's a simple thought, but is there something there?
Oh, I'd love to get him, and I would love to empower him, and I would love to have those rules.
One of the things that I love about Michael Jordan, to make it weird, is that he would find reasons to be upset. He's the greatest player in the world, yet he would find reasons to be slighted. You're number one overall, right? But some people are still talking about Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I don't think you look for manufactured things, but there are things that you can pick from, right?
Oh, we have plenty. We had a little chat yesterday in the practice. So, and I think I'm just wired that way. I will always find something. I want to go out every day and everything that I do and absolutely completely dominate. And so I hope when kids leave our program and are with us for, however many years, that's one of the traits that they take with them is that you always come up. I wake up every day. I get to do this. I get to come out and be the very best version of myself. And so I think that's something that's going to help them be successful in life.
How much of that mentality have you seen the younger players kind of grow into?
Yeah, I think Kelsey Mathis is one that you could really talk about. The kid got her first really collegiate start against Tennessee and just came out and was lights out. And you could see her like every at bat. She hasn't had, I should knock on wood, a bad at bat. She's worked herself into deep counts, and I think you've seen that all year with KK, with Frankie, Lessentine, and so that's what we're really recruiting here is kids that really want to chase greatness, and not just when it's convenient, but when it's really hard, and we go through the yuck in order for you to come out and perform like they did this past weekend.
We talk about the growth of young players and of the program, but you this season, where have you feel like you've grown?
Yeah, I think we took on this season knowing that it was going to be really tough, and I think we hit some bumps early on. Obviously, we had a heartbreak against Okie State and Clearwater. Tech, we were able to split with them. We've had some games where things, didn't really go our way. We've figured out a way to, have a lead and keep a lead. We've had, been down and then obviously come back. And I think this team is just very confident and comfortable. And what I mean by that is they know that even if I'm not successful in this at bat, I'm going to give you information and make you successful in your at bat. So it's really not about each individual. It's really about how do we, as Texas A&M softball, win games. What happened this weekend, to me, actually, this one weekend shouldn't color the entire season, but it does because they made me believe after not making me believe, right? I started off with this, like, what is happening? To then I start believing because they're beating really good teams. But then the last two series losses, to me, you cannot have. I'm sorry. I know the Texas series was tight and they had a chance. You don't lose that series. You don't lose the Missouri series, and they've lost them both.
Yeah, I'm okay with the Texas series loss. You lost those games by one run in each game. That can happen on the road, but those two series aren't comparable. If you look at the Missouri series, I would have said after the first 2 or 3 innings, A&M hit already 4 home runs against Missouri. You're thinking, boy, they're just going to blow these guys out of the water. Well, then all of a sudden, after the first game, it's almost like unexplainable, like kind of what happened over the rest of the weekend in that series. But to get out hit by Missouri of all teams, 38-11 in a weekend series, that's ugly. And I think the other thing for me that really probably surprised me more than anything is, you would have thought after Friday that, A&M would come out on Saturday and Sunday just breathing fire. Like, we're the aggressor. We're going to blow these guys out of the water, prove that was an aberration. Instead, as crazy as it sounds, Missouri looked like the better baseball team the rest of the weekend. And so I think if you're A&M, that requires a lot of self-reflection. And again, I don't want to disrespect Missouri, but do you know how bad you have to play and how lifeless you have to be to get swept by Missouri at home with the way that team has been this year? It's kind of hard to do. Like, it's impossible to do. And frankly, I look at that series, and it's probably, for me, the most surprising series loss for a team in probably the last, 7 or 8 years. Like, you could have put money on that series, and made thousands upon thousands of dollars if you'd had bet Missouri. That's how unlikely it was.
Maria and Jessica, tell them what to do.
Okay, everyone, you're going to like, comment, and subscribe. And for today's comment, what should they comment? They comment something like funny.
Dolly.
Just comment Dolly. That's it. Goodbye.
Thanks,
See y'all
guys.
tomorrow.